Okay, I believe we're finally working, so let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Uh, anyway, BuffdaddyNerf here, and we had interesting news today over on Jared Gaines' YouTube, Facebook, whatever social media is your particular flavor, officially announced the Nerf Alpha Strike line. After that, you know, the press releases got sent to everybody with all the various bits of information, all that sort of stuff. But the thing I was more interested in is the reason why this line even exists. Um, what it comes down to is Nerf, and I guess I should say Hasbro in general, but Nerf as a brand has been trending upward lately, with, you'll recall, last year having things like the $200 Prometheus. Obviously, that dropped in price fairly quickly, especially with holiday season and just getting clearanced out by various stores. But when you start producing lots of toys so expensive and neglect things on the lower end, you leave lots of chances for other toy companies to come in and take some of the market share. And that's basically what's happened here, especially with companies like X-Shot that have been able to really almost completely automate their production lines and make blasters for so low a price that they can give them to retailers. I shouldn't say give. It's not like they're giving them to the retailers for free, but they can offer them up to retailers saying, hey, here's this item. It's really inexpensive, and we've produced it for at a low enough cost that we can still have a healthy profit margin for everybody involved. And that has actually taken a hit on Hasbro for a number of reasons. First off, Hasbro did suffer a little bit from Toys R Us going out of business because they were a major partner there. Lots of their things got sold through Toys R Us, and all of a sudden you no longer had Toys R Us. So you had all of that stock that just wasn't going to go anywhere, and X-Shot and other companies had started going through and making deals with the various retailers. First, let's go over X-Shot themselves. They actually updated their line. As an example, here's the original XS. They upgraded it with better springs over the years, but this was the old model, was only compatible with their darts, shot silly discs, was generally not that great, but you go from old and busted to new hotness, and all of a sudden you have a nice redesigned line that fires all major darts, works very well, has great ranges, and depending on where you're shopping, you could find it for, in this case, the XS anywhere from $13 down to the Walmart version of $9.99, which is a seriously competitive price for any blaster. More on that little bit, especially X-Shot, but also Dart Zone and Buzzbee to a certain extent, have also made inroads in places like Walmart, where they have their own in-house brand, and they go to the various companies and say, hey, we'll feature your products on our shelves, but they need to be made to this price specification. They need to have this much on the shelf. They need to take up this much space. If you meet Walmart's requirements, you can get deals, and because it's Walmart, move a lot of stock. So they've done this to a remarkable extent. Dart Zone, especially with the rival blasters, but X-Shot has done a great job with their various dart blasters, and have even got to the point where they've started producing slightly longer darts than usual because, well, presumably Walmart wants all their darts to be compatible with everything. Compatibility is a good thing. Issues with darts aside, the actual number of darts has also been a huge factor for companies like X-Shot because they are overly generous compared to Hasbro. You'll see pictured here the Super Drum, the Walmart version of the Turbo Advance, sitting here with 96 darts to come with it. So you can fill your blaster, fire everything, fill it again, fire everything, still have some left over, and more than likely, your kid that you're buying the blaster for is going to be just fine on darts for a little while. Whereas for the longest time, Hasbro included the bare minimum darts to fill the magazines, and so if you lost your darts, well, that just sucks. So yes, between the various costs, being generous about the darts, and various other little things, ranging from, the little half-can targets to, nice bright packaging and everything, the companies have made major inroads into Hasbro's profit margins. I know Hasbro currently commands, at least as of the article talking about it, that was back in April, it was like 70% of the blaster market. So that still leaves 30%. So that, which is quite a large chunk. And also, X-Shot's numbers for, year-on-year growth have been going up at a fairly astounding rate for a blaster company of any sort. So this is a major segment of the market that Hasbro has neglected, and as a result is kind of on the losing end for the moment. So that is the reason why the Alpha Strike line exists, is to put products on shelves that carry the brand, and so that will scream at, kids, hey, I want this Nerf blaster, and it'll be a low enough expense that the parents will be fine grabbing that, as opposed to grabbing this, hey, Billy, there's this cheaper thing on the shelf over here, why don't we get that instead? That's the whole idea. If we go back to the first image real quick, you'll see on the package, it's, very minimalist, dark background, bright orange and yellow darts and blasters, Nerf in the corner, and taking up almost as much space on the package as the part saying #1 blaster brand. This is as much them trying to scream, hey, you should buy me, as it is anything else. Regardless of, the Nerf internet community's opinions on blasters like these, with, whether they like the grips or not, this is a solid marketing move for them. It's all about trying to work their way back in and take back what they can of this particular price segment. They have this line of blasters at Walmart, at Target, at Ross stores, at Meijer, at a bunch of other places, starting in August. Deliveries and shelves getting loaded, of course, because, my stores always seem to be a little late, but, I'm digressing. So we get into the meat of this line, and we get to... Oh, I should probably also mention, the other thing that X-Shot has been really good at doing is bundling all of their things together into multi-blaster packs. The example I have here is one that's currently at Sam's Club for $20. So that's 2 6-shot pistols, 2 4-shot pistols, a ton of darts, all for $20. And you'll find similar deals like this at other stores, maybe not quite as good as this one because, it's Sam's Club, but you'll still find things like the 2 4-shot pistols and 2 of the 1-shot recoils, or whatever name they're currently using for that one, at Target and other combo packs like that. So Hasbro has decided, in the case of the Alpha Strike line, to do the same. Basically, they're taking this entire method of marketing and say, hey, look, we can do it better, and we can nudge people out of the market. So, continuing on, we have the actual meat of the line. We have the quintessential Jolt. I know we have a joke that everything is a Jolt reskin, but sometimes, in this case, Hasbro just never fails to disappoint. They release another Jolt. In this case, we have the Stinger SD1, which in the most basic package is going to be $3. So cheaper than a Jolt. You can still find a Jolt for like 4 or 5 depending on where you look, but what's more important is they'll be selling packs like an 8-pack for $20. So that's $250 a blaster. So I mean, giant pack, have a kids party all in one package. You're ready to go. Granted, you can find things like the X-Shot Micro for $2 or less, depending on what store you go to, and it'll shoot farther. The claims of 80 feet on the package are legit, but again, it's, you know, tiny little off-brand blaster versus Nerf, #1 brand. So that is the line of thinking there. Then you have things like our little buddy here, the Quadrat without the packaging. This is the Alpha Strike Fang QS4, and it's 4-shot pistol, easy enough for Nerf to make because, you know, they have their smart AR system. They could just put this together and sell it for $5, which, you know, on one hand is nice, but on the other hand means it's half the price of the same thing with a nice shell to it. Well, it is what it is. So you have this competing with things like... Did I just restart it? Yes, somehow I restarted it. Wow, that is interesting. For some reason, I am not cycling through everything. Okay. OBS. Sometimes I absolutely hate you. So, if you'll wait a second. Okay. Let's try deleting all of those. Okay, there we go. Now that it's finally continuing, so compared to the Quadrat, and this is actually the same price point as things like the X-Shot Fury 4. 4-shot revolver sells for $5 at Walmart. We have things like the Cobra. The Cobra RC6 to be specific, selling for $9, comes with plenty of darts, comes with little pop can targets that you can shoot at, and this is actually the interesting thing of this sells for $9, but we get to this point, and this actually still sells for more than the competing stuff, because you have this for $9, $9.99 I should say. You have the double set for $19.99, but at the same time, you have things like the X-Shot, the Reflex 6, you know, 90-foot ranges, $8 at Dollar General. The Walmart version, the Adventure Force Destroyer, is $7. So, I mean, it's still not quite as good a price there, and you could definitely argue in terms of aesthetics the X-Shot one is better, but, you know, it doesn't say Nerf #1 brand on it. You see where I'm going here. And then you have things like the double pack you'll sign for $15, or you'll have other things like Dart Zone has the Blitzfire 2-pack for $13 at Target. So, yes, it's a nice large blaster for them, but even then, it's not always quite there on price, but you have the Nerf branding that I'm sure has been tested to the nth degree between various focus groups. Then we have our special little buddy here, the Alpha Strike Tiger DB2, which is $13.99 by itself. Coincidentally, guess what else you can usually find for $13? And once again, OBS is failing me. Why is it doing this? Okay. Deleting a few more images from the slideshow, since apparently it can't handle that many. So yes, what else is $13? Usually the Vigilante from Eggshot. And it has a similar performance, operates a little differently because of the break action, but, you know, you load it, you pump, you fire one dart, you pump it again, you fire the next dart. It doesn't seem like Hasbro is, you know, being subtle about what they're trying to compete against. A lot of these blasters are the exact same in function and very similar in price. And just as an aside, the Dart Zone version, the Quickfire Phantom, which actually has two blasters, the a two-shot shotgun-looking thing that operates the same way, and a little, you know, their version of the Jolt in the corner is $15. So, you know, in terms of pricing, still similar. But if all the stuff is basically targeting similar products from the smaller blaster companies. So it's going to come down to aesthetics and how well the Nerf #1 blaster brand, bright colors, nice packaging and everything goes, and how much shelf space these things actually take up. I'm interested to see what the actual result is. I'm assuming, you know, once we get things on hand, it'll be typical In-Strike elite ranges, but you never know. We'll just have to wait till August rolls around before we can see actual chronograph numbers. You know, unless Jared does us a favor and fires things over a chronograph, or one of the guys over in Britain does, because I know there's a few on shelves already over there. But, you know, we'll just have to see what happens and see if parents decide that they like the bare bones version of Nerf rather than the fuller bodied off-brand stuff that's currently on the shelf. So that's basically my thoughts, and, you know, we're good for now. I know I haven't been paying attention to any of the comments. If there have been any, you know, well, too bad. I really just haven't been paying attention when to get through this video. Jared did chrono but only showed one shot. Okay, well, there you go. Okay. Well, we'll see when these things come out. Until then, that's just me signing off.